Hey folks, today I'm going to do a video on a gun that I just picked up not long ago. Now I've had several of these guns in the past. I think at one time I had 4 of them, and I just love these guns. Colt introduced a reissue of their commercial model gun either late last year or early this year, and it's not an exact replica of their commercial model, but it's in the same format basically. You can see it's got the small Colt government writing there, and on this side it's got the classic Colt lettering there, and the Colt pony is there instead of back here on the back. I love these classic looking Colts, just the standard GI style Colt, no beaver tails, none of that stuff. I like them. And like I said, at one time I had 4 of them, and I just love them. I bought this gun, one, because they came at a pretty good price. This gun started, I think it was right around $700 is what this gun cost, which is a good price for a quality gun. I'm going to pan down here and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the gun and some things that I like about this gun, and some things that I don't like about the gun. So let's pan down and take a look at it. All right, this is Colt's new release. Like I said, I think it came out late last year or early this year. It's called their Classic Series. Basically, it's a loose copy of their commercial model that was released or in production in the 40s and 50s. If you'll notice, it has the small Colt government model roll mark on there on the slide. It also has the small roll marks here with the pony right behind the wording or the lettering. The newer ones, or the 70 series, had the Colt pony right back there. This gun is not meant to be an exact copy of the pre-70 series or commercial model. I think it was actually meant to be more or less a gunsmith blank, a good foundation for a gunsmith to pick up, or an average person to pick up and send off to a gunsmith for a full-on custom build. Colt uses a forged frame. They used a forged slide, and they use in this one a National Match barrel. And I will say the barrel in this one is fit very, very well. There is no movement in that barrel hood at all. And even the slide to frame movement is very minimal. Very little side to side movement, 0 up and down movement in the slide, which is good. If you can have a consistent lockup in the rear, a consistent lockup in the front, you're going to have a very accurate gun. If you can have a gun with very little slide to frame movement, you're going to have a very accurate gun. Most of your accuracy does come from the front and rear lockup. Only about 10% of it comes from the slide to frame fit, as long as it's within reason. But this barrel is fit perfect. And when I say perfect, I mean it's fit perfect. The barrel lugs are actually sitting on the slide stop. It's not the slide stop link that's sitting on the slide stop. I'm not going to go into all that, but this barrel is fit really good. Like I said, forged steel lower, forged steel slide. One thing that I like about Colt is that Colt, even though they do use injection molded parts, they still use tooled steel parts in high impact areas. One high impact area, and it's a very crucial area, is your slide stop. Colt still uses a tooled steel slide stop. That's important. That's a very high impact area. Every time that slide comes back, your link rides on the slide stop. It stops the gun in the reverse and it holds the gun together when it slams back forward. So it's very, very important. And Colt still uses a forged, tooled steel slide stop. Other manufacturers, they use injection molded parts, and this is one of the parts that they use that's injection molded. Even cast parts are not as good as your tooled steel parts. Very high impact part, Colt still uses a tooled steel part there. Another area that Colt uses a tooled steel part is the hammer. The hammer, very high impact part. Most manufacturers, I'm talking about production guns, Springfield, Kimber, Rock Island Armory, ones like that, they use injection molded hammers. Colt still uses a tooled steel hammer. These two parts on a Colt are tooled steel. These two parts are high impact parts. Colt uses tooled steel parts in these two areas for a reason. They want them to last, and these two parts will last because they're tooled steel. I can do a trigger job on this gun, and I have no doubt that these hammer hooks are going to hold true because it's a tooled steel part. I'm not taking the surface hardening off of it like I would be an injection molded part. These parts are going to hold true. Now, Colt does use injection molded parts. I believe their thumb safety is an injection molded part, very low impact part, doesn't matter. Their disconnector is an injection molded part, doesn't matter, very light use part, it's not a high impact part. Their sear is injection molded. I would like to see them go to a tooled steel sear. But I will say, and trust me, I'm not a Colt fanboy. I'm just pointing these things out, the experiences that I've had with Colts. I will say that their injection molded sear has been better than any other company's injection molded sear that I've ever dealt with. I can do a trigger job and cut the primary and secondary angle on excuse me, on a Colt sear and have it super crisp, super clean, super smooth. But I can cut that exact same angle on a Springfield Armory sear, and I can't get it near as good as I can a Colt sear. Kimber sears, they're okay. They're, in my opinion, they're on par with a Springfield Armory sear. But neither one of them are as good as the Colt sear. I'm telling you, I have done numerous trigger jobs on Colt injection molded sears, and as far as injection molded sears go, they're the best. Now, of course, you would like to have a tooled steel part in there, but most companies aren't going to spend that money to put a tooled steel part in there, especially on what they're considering an entry-level gun. One thing that I don't like about the Colts is maybe not necessarily this model, but used to, up until just recently, within the last 10 years, 7 years, this is basically the only Colt you could buy. If you bought a Colt, you bought this type of gun, unless it was a Gold Cup, and it was still pretty much like this. You just had a different trigger and different sights on it. But this was pretty much the only Colt you could buy. Now they've kind of come into the modern era, and you can get nicer beaver tails, nicer hammers, nicer thumb safeties, mag wells, beveled mag wells, better triggers. All these sharp edges are softened and radiused on the new ones. These edges right here are so sharp, if you ain't careful, they'll cut you. I'm telling you, they're sharp. But overall, I bought this gun for its classic look. And I bought it because I could have bought a Springfield Armory mil-spec. I do not like those guns. One, I'm not going to give Springfield my money after the stunt they pulled a couple of years back in Illinois. But two, just for the fact, this is a better gun than the mil-spec Springfield. I'm not knocking the mil-spec Springfield, not at all. It's a good gun, but this is a better gun. It's better machined. I'm telling you, the machining on the new Colts is good. It's got better parts in it. It's got a better finish on it, much better finish on it. This is a better gun. Another thing is if you bought this gun to build up, you're gonna have a better resale on it simply because it says Colt on it. Plain and simple. If it says Colt on it, you're going to have a better resale. I'm not making that up, it's the truth. Now, I bought this gun and I've kind of been throwing out some different options. One option is just leave it like it is, not change anything on it. The other option is I was thinking about doing a classic build on it. I'm not talking about putting beaver tails, different sights, all that kind of stuff on it. I'm talking about a build that would keep the classic lines, but yet give it some modern touches. One thing I thought about doing was checkering the front strap. I do my own hand checkering. I wouldn't do this in 20 lines per inch, or maybe even 25, because Colts are notorious for having a thin front strap on them. But I would probably checker this one in 30 lines per inch and then put a nice border across the top. Another thing I thought about doing is beveling all these hard edges up here around the muzzle, along the side, in the back, beveling this grip safety here because it is very sharp. If you shoot it a lot, at the end of the day, you have pretty good wear from that beaver tail right there because it's very sharp. I'd also thought about taking this hammer down to about that long, because by shortening the hammer, now you're going to do away with the hammer bite. If I shorten the hammer to here, then I don't have to worry about getting hammer bite anymore. I thought about putting a Harrison Design rear sight on it because they make a more robust heavy duty sight. I'm not going to dovetail this, but I thought about putting either a gold bead, a staked on gold bead, or even a staked on white dot. But everything that I'm going to do to it, if I do that, is just going to be classic looking. I want to keep the classic silhouette, the classic lines of the gun. I'm not going to go all out and start cutting the frame tangs here for beaver tails and all that stuff. I just want to keep a classic look to it. I'll probably bevel the mag well here, open it up a little bit just so they're not so sharp. Not a major bevel, just a little bit. And even though I really like these grips I put on there, they're still a little too thick, and I bought a set of these thin Ed Brown grips. They're real thin, they're the slim grips. I'm probably gonna put them on there, and they still look good. They'll still give me a good classic look. But tell me in the comments below, what do y'all think I should do? Should I leave it like this, or should I do a classic build? And when I say classic build, it's just what I was talking about, a build that will maintain the classic lines of the gun, but give it some modern touches that make it a little more easy and comfortable to shoot. Y'all leave some comments down below. If y'all want me to do a build on the gun, I probably will. And what I'll do is I'll try to figure up a way I can set up my camera and show y'all how I do my checkering on the front strap, how I do all my beveling of the sharp edges. I'll even bevel this slide stop here because that's even sharp. I am going to put a different thumb safety on it. I don't like the Ed Brown thumb safety. I like the EGW. Never been a fan of Ed Brown. Believe it or not, the only Ed Brown part I use is their beaver tail. I do not like other Ed Brown parts. I have better success with other parts. But I like the EGW thumb safety over the Ed Brown all day, every day. But leave some comments down there. Tell me what you would like to see me do. Nothing major. Like I said, I'm not going to cut dovetails up here. I'm gonna leave it classic looking. One thing I do like that Colt did is they have already lowered the ejection port on these. The old ones, the ejection port was up high. Now they've lowered it down to here. They haven't flared it, and I'm not gonna flare it. I'm gonna leave it just like it is, but that enhances reliability right there. And it does have the newer style Colt dimpled barrel in it. And from my experiences, that little dimpled barrel is pretty good. Now, one thing I'm gonna slam Colt on, and I don't know why they do this. Here recently, Colt ships all of their guns with one mag. Now, I will say, this is stamped Colt, but I compared it to a Chip McCormick mag of mine, and I am 99.999% sure this is a Chip McCormick mag. Look at the follower. It's a Chip McCormick follower. The witness holes are in exactly the same spot. It's got the same squared off rear portion, and it's got the same style base plate, the way it fits in there as my Chip McCormick mags. So I believe this is a blue Chip McCormick mag, probably made by Metgar, but with Chip McCormick follower in it. But that kind of sucks that they only ship with one mag, because some people, this might be the only gun that they buy. This might be the only one they can afford to buy, and they've saved up to buy this gun, and now it comes with one mag. And of course, these mags aren't as expensive as some other mags, but if you want to get quality mags, they're going to cost you $25, $30. If you're dropping money for a Colt, they ought to at least put in 2 mags. I mean, they should, I feel. But again, this is an entry-level gun, and it is what it is. Now, I will say, let me get out my trigger pull gauge. I want to show you the trigger pull on this. It's not that bad. It was a little heavier when I first got it, but I tweaked some things on it. I haven't done a full-on trigger job on it yet, but I will. But it's actually a pretty good trigger, pretty crisp, pretty clean. Let's see. Comes in just under 4.5 pounds. Let's do it one more time, and just to make sure. Yep, comes in just under 4.5 pounds. So that's actually a pretty good trigger out of the box. And to tell you the truth, it doesn't have that much creep in it. It's got, right before it breaks, it's got just a touch of creep in it, but it's not bad at all. It's better than most guns you get out of the box. But again, I'm not a Colt fanboy, but there's a reason why the only production guns I buy are Colts. And it's because Colt puts the money in the areas where the money needs to be spent. The hammer, the slide stop, the fitting of the barrel, and now the machining. Their old machining was terrible, but their new machining is actually really good. And their dimpled barrel is really good. It kind of does away with having to throat and polish that barrel. But anyway, like I said, leave some comments down below. And if y'all want to see me do a build on the gun, let me know. I might do it. I'm kind of torn between leaving this one stock or building it up. I like it stock, but I enjoy doing work on my guns, and we'll see. If I do some work on it, I haven't decided, I'll either send it out and have it blued, reblued. I could send it back to Colt and they reblue it, or possibly even send it out, have the flats polished and have it DLC coated, which that would be pretty nice to have DLC coating, but have a classic style silhouette of the gun. Or since I do Cerakoting, I might do a good gloss black Cerakote on it. But y'all leave some comments, some things that y'all might like to see. and tell me what you think about this gun compared to, say, the Springfield Armory mil spec. Not the GI model, but the mil spec. This competes more with the mil spec. So I appreciate y'all watching. Oh, and I want to say, the hat I always wear during these videos, Downrange Hat Company. Check them out. Some buddies of mine own that company, and they're some good dudes, man. I'm gonna tell you, they're veterans, military veterans. They're all active law enforcement, and I'll just be honest with you. If y'all have a problem with them being active law enforcement, then y'all can go ahead and unsub from my channel. They're good dudes. They're pro Second Amendment, and I'm gonna tell you, not all cops are anti-Second Amendment. I can tell you firsthand experience, most cops are very pro Second Amendment. You do have some that are bad, but most cops, especially where I'm from, are very pro Second Amendment. Also, go to their website, downrangehatcompany.com. They've got jackets, they've got bags, I think they've got some pants now, some workout pants. And you can have custom embroidery done. You can have just about whatever you want done. And there's some really good guys. Hats are affordable. I think they're 25 bucks. But go check them out. And I'm not getting any kickbacks from this. They're my friends. And they're all really good dudes. They're trying to get their company up and going. And go check them out. I think they'll work with you, and tell them you saw them here in my YouTube channel. But thank y'all for watching again, and leave some comments down below and tell me what y'all want me to do this gun, and I might do it. So hope y'all have a good day, and I'll see you next time.